was Banana Splits from a children's program in the 70s, which I used to watch, and it was fantastic. So let's get cracking today. So first of all, we're gone to straight lines now. But you know what? This is so closely related to number patterns. So let's just go over what we learned yesterday. One of the things from yesterday that happened was some technical issues. Now, I think it was at Facebook then, because my computer's been working perfectly well all day long after that, and videos have been fine. So let's hope we don't get chucked out like we did yesterday. So before we carry on with lines, let's have a look at what we were doing yesterday. So looking at these are, I don't mean straight lines here. These shapes are made with lines. So if we have a look at the first one, it's like a house shape this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 lines there. Okay, for pattern 1. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now remember, there's 2 things to remember: is what we start with and what we're adding on. So what we're adding on here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that other one, that line there, is shared by this sort of housey shape, shares that. So we're going to add 5 on, so that's going to be 11. So this one's going to be 16. Okay. So pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. Okay. And then we looked into using a rule. So we're going up by 5s because we're adding 5 on, and we need 1 line to start the shape off at the beginning, and then we add 5 on each time. And that 1 line there is always shared. So we don't need to add it on more than once. You just need 1 to start things off. So the rule is going to be the 5 times table, 5 times pattern number, plus the 1 to start with. Okay. So when we're looking at this, we're adding on 5. So that's the 5 times table. Okay. And then if we can compare to the 5 times table, once 5 is 5, 2 5s are 10, 3 5s are 15, we need an extra 1 on. Now, also, I mentioned that in general, I'm using P here for pattern number, but in general, for number patterns, we like to use the letter N. So the number pattern for 5, 6, 11, 16 would be 5N plus 1. Okay, and earlier at the start of the week, we talked about describing a rule in words. That's just the basic level. We need to do that, though. So it would be start at 6, add 3 times. So that's just a recap on what we've learned so far. So if you have a look at this number pattern, there's 2 aspects to it. Excuse me. There is the times part, the times table, and there's the add or take away part. The times part and the add or take away part. So 2 aspects. So that's where we start with this. And actually, it is pretty much the same thing, straight lines. We've got a times part, times table, and an add part. And I've set this up like a number machine. Okay, so we get a good idea what's going on. We've got an in part, so the numbers coming in, and then an out part. And the number machine, it times the in part by 2 and add 3. So setting up this table, I've just sort of going to shift it along because I need this area underneath for doing the line itself. Okay. Now, I'm not talking anymore about lines to make shapes. I'm talking about making a straight line like my rule is showing here. That's a straight line on the graph, somewhere like that. Okay. So slightly different to using the little lines to make shapes. Okay, so let's start off with 0. You can start off with 1 when you're doing this table sometimes, but I'm starting off with 0. Okay, because my graph goes to 0. That's the only reason why. So if 0 goes in, 0 times 2 is 0. Adds 3 makes 3. So if 0 goes into this number machine here, 3 comes out. Now this is interesting because the 3 is the same number as that. Now that's an important part. Remembering you've got your 2 aspects to the formula. That's important too. Okay, so 1 goes in now. Once 2 is 2, add 3 is 5. 2 goes in now. 2 2s are 4. 5, 6, 7. 3 goes in, 3 2s are 6, plus 3 is 9. And you can see the pattern developing here. Notice we're going up in 2s. And we're going up in 2s because it's a times 2 table. 2, 2, 2. Okay, so this one's going to be 11 because of the pattern, or 4 2s are 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's generated our sequence, okay, from this number pattern. Remembering there's 2 aspects to it. Okay, right, so I'm going to jump down. You wouldn't probably get this in a question, but this is just to see if you've understood so far. Suppose I'm going to jump down here, just to kind of ignore that. Suppose I had 10 going in. 10 going in there, what would be coming out? Okay, I missed a few out there, but that's okay. I just wanted to ask you to see if you were paying attention. Okay, so can you type that in the comment box, please? 10 goes in, what comes out? La 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 la. Banana splits. Now I seem to remember with banana splits when it was on, there was various aspects to that as well. So I think you had in the middle of the banana split show, you had things like the Arabian Nights and stuff like that. Worth a visit to YouTube, by the way. Okay, that's correct. It's 23. Brilliant. So you're paying attention. Well done, everybody. Okay. Good morning, Lydia Rumsey. Nice to see you. And Alfie. Nice to see you this morning. And a big welcome to Dylan this morning. So welcome, Dylan. 23 is correct. All those marks coming in now. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to plot these points. Now, we don't have in and out for coordinates. But if we did, the in part would be the x. And the y part would be the out. So further down the line, we're going to ditch this idea of the number machine. We're just making it easy today. But we've got the in and x, they're like the same, and the out and y, they're the same as well. Okay, so we're going to plot these points. Now, people just sort of, I think I get on people's nerves when I keep saying about along the corridor up to the stairs, wide to the sky, all that kind of stuff. But the number of people I've seen in GCSE top set making a mistake and doing up the stairs along the corridor is crazy. So really just keep on about that, along the corridor, up the stairs. Just keep going, like keep telling yourself that in your brain as well, so it all sticks. Okay, so these are our along the corridors, these are our up the stairs. Along the corridor, no, up the stairs, 3. This first point is very important because that's where we start the line from. Okay, and it's got a value of 3. Now we'll come back to that later on. Okay, 1 and 5, 1 along the corridor, 5 up the stairs. 2, 7. Okay, now I'm not doing this on proper graph paper, so probably won't join up perfectly, but it's looking pretty tidy. Okay, 4, 11. And if I was to do 5, I know I'm going up in 2, so that'd be 13, 5, 13. And that makes a perfect straight line. Now, as I said, mine isn't quite perfect because I'm not using proper graph paper, so it's easily visible. But if I was using proper graph paper, I'd be able to draw a line and it would go through all of them. As it happens, that's not bad. Now, it's not like a line of best fit, this isn't. Okay, all of those points should be bang on the line. And they will be if you used proper graph paper. And there we go. Okay, that's the main part of plotting lines. Okay, right, on this graph, I have got a worksheet to do, but I'm going to save the worksheet for Friday. Okay, but on this graph, I'm going to draw another line here. Okay, another line, right? Now, we're going to go up in 2s in the same way. Okay, but this time I'm just going to mark it on here. we're going to do the line in times by 2 again, same thing, add 6. So a little table down here, in, out, 0, 6, 1, once 2 is 2, add 2, 6 is 8, 1, 8, 2, 2 2s are 4, add 6 is 10. So I'm going to plot them in a different colour. Okay, draw that line on. Okay, and we're going to have a look at the difference. They've both got times 2s, Luke. Okay, so 0, 6, 1, 8, and 2, 10. Incidentally, if you haven't got a lot of time to draw these lines, it's good to actually plot at least 3 points. Okay, 2 points you'll be able to join a line up with 2 points, but the third one, just make sure you're doing it right. I like to do 4 or 5 points if I can. The next one would be 3, 12. So I can mark that on 3, 12. And then it'd be 4, 14, that's off the page. Join them up. Okay. Now I want us to consider 2 things. First of all, if you look at those 2 lines, okay, one's got +3, one's got +6. Okay. So one's got +3, one's got +6. That graph is starting because 0 times the number 0, so that's just that number. So the only difference between these 2 graphs, and if I trace this one over, we're going the same height. The only difference between them is that one of the graphs starts at 3, one starts at 6. So this point here is really important. Where we start the graphs is really important. It makes a big difference as to where the graph is. So that's got a special name in maths, and that's called the y-intercept. Now, intercept is like where 2 things meet or cross. So it's the y-axis intercept. Okay, and that's got a special letter. I'm sure there's a reason why it's called C. If anyone wants to let me know that, that would be great. Okay, but the special name, y-intercept and C are the same thing. Okay, so for our first line, the y-intercept is 3, and our second line, y-intercept is 6. Okay, so now where can I mark that? I won't write it on. I'll just put it here. C equals 3, C equals 6. Brilliant. And there's one other variable. I said there was 2 aspects to think about. This number here, and now we've established is the y-intercept. This number here has also got a special name, okay, and that's called M, which is the median of the line. But it's also known as the gradient. So median of line and gradient, okay, same thing. And what the gradient is, it's a measure of the steepness of the slope as well as actually what you're multiplying by, the times table you're using. So I said these things are linked, okay, and they are very closely linked. In fact, they are pretty much the same thing, but we've got some additional parts to consider when it comes to straight lines. So we're going to talk a little bit more about gradients next time, but what this value is how many units we are moving up compared to 1 across. And when you think about it, that's just saying you're going up. It's the times table, isn't it? Going up by 2, going up by 2, going up by 2. So this one is a gradient of 2 because we go 1 along and 2 up, 1 along and 2 up, 1 along and 2 up. This one is the same, 1 along, 2 up, 1 along, 2 up, 1 along, 2 up. Okay, and it measures the steepness of a line. If I had a line going like that, it'd be less steep. Okay, probably a gradient of 1, 45 degrees. If I had a gradient like that, it'd be quite shallow, not steep at all. So then we have fractions, and if I had a gradient really, really steep like that, it would be a very, very high number. Straight up is infinity. Okay, brilliant. Right, so that's it for today, folks. So we're kind of halfway through this topic, and just a quick recap on what's going on. All right, we started off with saying about the link between number patterns, and we did this one here, and we said that for these number patterns, there's two aspects in the formula. There's the number we times by, the times table we used, and we use an n, and the number, the adjustment number, or the number we start with. Okay, so two aspects. Okay, and then we looked at straight lines, and the connection is pretty much the same thing as a number pattern. We generated some numbers from this number rule. Okay, number machine, put it in the form of a number machine. Okay, and then we looked at two aspects, where the number where we start with, that's why I did 0 there, and that's where it crosses the y-axis, which is the y-intercept, and how steep the line is. Okay, so the last thing I just want to leave you with is that you probably wouldn't see a question in that format in GCSE, but it would be the same thing. We said that our out is y. Okay, so to make the y, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the in, which was the x, 2x plus 3. So that is the same as that number machine. Okay, but I'll put it in the number machine to make things a little bit easier to understand. Okay, that's it for today. Don't worry if I've gone a bit quick. I'll go over all this information on Friday with you, and then we'll have a look at doing this worksheet, which looks like that, and it's the exact same idea using the 4 quadrants, so negative numbers as well. Okay, and just for information, for viewers who are with me every day, which is quite a few people now, even if you're not watching it live, there's lots of people who will watch this later on. Okay, so people like Johan. So hello, Johan, for later on. So lots of other people as well. But next week, we're going to have a fractions week. So every lesson next week is going to be fractions. All right. So tomorrow, I'm not in because I'm in school. I'm in school next Wednesday as well. So I won't be in on the Wednesday. So that'll be free. Okay. And then, yeah. So, yeah, the whole week of next week will be fractions with the exception of Wednesday. Okay, that's it for now. And I'll look forward to seeing you all on Friday. Remember that we're having a day off tomorrow because I'm in school. Okay, and I'll see you all on Friday. It is a pleasure doing these videos. So please keep turning up to them. Okay, and I think, you know, I talked about a couple of weeks ago, we'd already done enough for grade C if we just followed every single video and understood everything. Well, actually, we're getting close to being able to do to be able to get a grade B just from watching these videos. Okay, because of the topics we've covered. So next week's an important one, and I will be starting off easy next week so that we can cater. We're going to go right back to the beginning. But don't let that put you off, folks. It's good revision for if you can do fractions already, and also it will get harder as the week progresses. But that's it for today, folks. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you with my favorite kids TV program, and that is going to be the Banana Splits. Okay. Here we go.